Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 99 of our trip around the United States. Can you believe it's almost been 100 days straight that we've been on the road going through county by county through the United States? I can't. It really feels like just a few weeks ago when we got this thing started. But when we take a look back, man, what an amazing ride it's been. We first started off in the state of New York, where we got to go through Long Island and make our way up to Connecticut. We didn't spend long in Connecticut, however. We were already almost done there, so within 2 days we'd done all the counties and pushed our way up to Massachusetts. We had another few days up there before our friend Skeletor 10 came and met up with us in Maine. Over the next week and some change, Skeletor 10, I explored the entire state of Maine, getting every single county and every single DeLorme page within the state. I was already a good part of the way done, but we made sure we could do it all so Skeletor 10 could finish the challenges as well. And we did, and we crushed it. That same day, we dropped Skeletor 10 off the airport, and then made our way over and picked up Mimom, where we spent the next week and some change exploring New York together. We got to finish off New York, meeting my buddy Chuck, and he jumped right out of an airplane with me for the second time. Thanks for that, Chuck. After New York, things calmed down a little bit. We got into Pennsylvania, and we were able to make our way through the state. The hardest part of that was completing the state's DeLorme challenge, which was a 14-mile round trip from the nearest parking to get out to the geocache and get back. I knew it was too much for Aichan to take on, so I got out there in the wee early hours in the morning, and I ran all the way out and all the way back and got back to the dogs just before sunrise, so it was not too hot in the car. The other amazing things that we did in Pennsylvania were the 1,000 Steps, where we got great point of view footage from Aichan, and we got to hang out with our friend Ames for a day and explore Pittsburgh in a true locals fashion. After that, we made our way west into Ohio, where we met up with Ivo and Supply, and we got to spend the day looking around Canton with them. And what a lot of history we got to see on that day. The journey only continued from there, though, as we circled our way around the Great Lakes. We pushed first through Indiana before we got into Michigan and spent a whole 2 weeks there, including a 3-day weekend with Truax Outdoors, where we got to paddle out to the oldest geocache in the state, Power Island. And what an amazing adventure that was. Just incredible. The Upper Peninsula had a lot of competition to fight against compared to that, but it was a beautiful place, and we enjoyed making our way through all the trees, forests, and mountains up there. Pumping west out of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we came down into Wisconsin and met up with our friends Vegas duo in Oshkosh, where we went to the Even Destruction and had another great few days. Along this stretch, I don't have any other friends we're going to be linking up with until Thanksgiving, where I'll be seeing my sister near Nashville. But we have had a lot of great opportunities to enjoy the view like this and stop off along the way. We explored Minnesota, North Dakota, taking the time to do the gadgets there for an entire day, and now we're finally making our way through South Dakota. From here, we're going to continue our way south. The cold of the winter has just barely started to creep in on us, and I have no intention of being anywhere in this northern climate when winter really sets in. So our journey from here is going to be a continuous southward push. We're going to go from here to Nebraska. Nebraska, we're going to cut over to Iowa, Iowa to Illinois, and then we start dropping down Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and over to Texas. We will be finishing up in Texas by New Year's, where we're going to get to spend a little bit of time with some of our Marine buddies. Between now and then, it's a lot of miles on the road and a long journey ahead, but it's going to be a fantastic journey with a lot more sights to see. Today is actually an admin day. I hadn't decided whether I was going to take the admin day until we got here. Right now, we're sitting in the city of Wessington Springs, and we found this fantastic campground in the city park. Once again, only $10 a night for a spot. It's a beautiful day. The wind is blowing, but not like it was yesterday. It's blowing at a very decent level, and it's just nice out here. So we're going to take the admin day. Aichan and I are going to hang out here, right down there in our parking spot for the day, and we're going to work on a lot of those tasks that we've been putting off. One of the biggest things we have to get ready for is we'll be featuring as a guest on the Geocaching podcast in a little over a week here. We need to make sure that we're up and ready for that by the time we get there. So stay tuned, because I'm really excited for the live call-in opportunity this show is going to provide us. For now, Aichan and I are going to take a short walk around the city of Wessington Springs before we get back to work. All of the geocaches in this area have a pretty spotty history, so my hopes of finding all of them, non-existent. My hopes of finding a handful of them, so-so. But I have high hopes of finding at least one, and you know what? That's all we need is one geocache today to be sure that we've got our check in the box streak continued, and move on. So come on, let's go take a quick look around Wessington Springs and go find a geocache or two. Let's go. Nestled in right off of Highway 34, you can find the town of Wessington Springs, a small, quaint little town with about 1,000 residents. The city park features a very nice camping area with a hill that walks up to an overlook of the whole city. It was the kind of morning stroll we could not resist. With a view like this and the chance to sit outside all day and let the dog roam in the green grass, this is the perfect place to take an admin day. I could not have asked for anything more. Look at that view. And we are going to get to enjoy this fantastic view all day. Ah yes, the Nano. We all hate them. No, that's pretty much it. I think we all just universally hate them. Now, Nano at a spot where there's not a lot of places to look, I'm good with. But a Nano on a piece of equipment like this can equal out to a very long hunt. And since there's other geocaches in the area, I'm not willing to commit to it. I put in about 5 minutes here, not finding it. We're gonna go find something else. And if worse comes to worse, we can't find any of the others in town, we'll be back. But let's hope that's not the case. All the grasshoppers are bouncing out from underneath her feet. So she's fascinated by them and wants to try and catch one or two. So far, she hasn't had any luck. North Dakota and South Dakota don't actually feature a whole lot of trails. It's really just farmlands as far as you can see in most directions. We did find a few, but they were the exception rather than the norm. So we've put in a lot of road time over the last couple of weeks, and she really hasn't had that balance of trail time that she likes. So it's nice to be able to have the opportunity to walk out here today, not in any kind of hurry, and let her go at her own speed, just enjoy walking around for a bit instead of being in the car. And there is more than plenty of room to walk around and explore in this city park. Not only does it have that awesome sledding hill we just came down, but it also has a pool and a pretty cool playground too. Ai-chan sat down. She was bored. This took a while, but I did actually find one here today. Let's see where it is. It's a good thing that this was the only thing that was in the GZ, or I probably wouldn't have found this. But since there was nowhere else to search, I committed to the hunt, and I eventually did come up with the grab. Here we go. Whew. That little guy was in there deep. And there it is. We have stamped a logbook today. But finding geocaches is kind of like popping the top on a can of Pringles. You really can't just have one. So we walked out into town and took the chance to explore a little bit more, trying to hunt down a few more geocaches. We weren't as successful as we would have liked, however. We ended up DNFing 2 of them and only finding one more beside the one we just stamped. At least it was at a nice spot for us to enjoy a sit down at a park. Ai-chan always enjoys a geocache hunt best if she can hang out on the sidelines and watch us work, not having to get involved. Fortunately, her wait was short this time around. We came up with the prize very quickly. Out of 5 geocaches in town, that's 2 DNFs and 2 finds, and the other one's a little farther than we want to walk right now. So we're gonna call it there and go take care of business. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trail.